Welcome to Hel+Sports. I'm Helen Cross, and across the table from me is Christian Gore.
Is that who I am? Okay.
Christian.
You say so. Hello.
Welcome to Hel+Sports. Thank you for joining me on this show. I greatly appreciate it.
That's okay. I haven't been following sports as much as I usually do.
Yeah.
You know.
What about hockey?
Well, I haven't been following that. Well, there's been nothing to follow. But finally, the lockout is over. They're going to start playing again. 48 game season, as opposed to the normal 82 games. I'm excited as a Kings fan to see the Kings back on the ice, defending their Stanley Cup championship, first ever. It's been a long wait.
How long is this a lockout?
The lockout, okay, the season was supposed to start in October. Mm-hmm. It's starting Friday, the 19th.
The 19th.
Or, no, Saturday the 19th. So it's starting Saturday, January 19th. It was supposed to start in October. So.
Wow.
So it's just been months and months and months of the owners deciding they didn't like the deal, so they wanted to renegotiate, and they locked the players out rather than go ahead with the collective bargaining agreement they had in place. Mm-hmm. So basically, nothing happened. You know, some places you could watch, like minor league hockey, and a lot of the players went overseas to play. So it's going to be a very interesting season. I think some players are going to be in better shape than others. You know, some players who had injuries or surgeries to recover from obviously got more time. So, I mean, there are some positives in some regards. But it's been absolutely...
Just a little too long.
It's been a brutal wait. And for the most part, I think Gary Bettman has become like the most hated man in hockey.
Oh, gosh.
Well, because he wasn't even negotiating at times. It was like, well, we said we want this. The union rejected that deal. They didn't give us a counter proposal, so we're not even going to talk to them. The union would give a counter proposal. They said, well, we don't like that, so we're not going to talk to them. You're not going to get any negotiating done if you don't talk to each other. So finally, they sat down, they came to an agreement. Hockey will finally start.
This was back in December?
Actually, the agreement actually happened a couple weeks ago.
Just a couple weeks ago.
So.
Wow.
So it was a whole lot of just waiting for nothing. And it was all about greed. And that's really all it was.
Yeah.
You know? The sport was actually on an incline. You know, this is the second time that Gary Bettman has been involved in a lockout. The last lockout ended the season without a playoffs.
What?
So I believe there was a start to that season, and they lost the playoffs.
I'm not very much into hockey, and that's not very good because, no. I mean, you play throughout the entire season and come to the playoffs and... Well,
it was before the playoffs even came around.
Okay.
I don't remember what happened that year because I think I was... I wasn't paying as much attention at that time. I mean, I've always followed hockey. I just hadn't that particular year, and I don't even remember what year it was. There was other stuff going on in my life, but yeah, it wiped out the season. And I think the Kings were doing poorly that year, so I didn't really pay much attention. But the Kings have done poorly many years of my life.
You've always been a hockey fan.
Not always. I grew up in Los Angeles, and I always rooted for the hometown teams. Mm-hmm. It wasn't until Gretzky came to LA that I realized that LA had a hockey team. And actually, by then, I had moved to New York. So it wasn't until I went to Madison Square Garden and watched hockey, actually live, that I came to appreciate the sport. And I watched the Rangers and the Hartford Whalers. And I've always kind of followed those teams. I obviously can't follow the Hartford Whalers anymore because they don't exist. They moved to Carolina, became the Hurricanes. I think that's them. Mm-hmm. They won a Stanley Cup championship as the Hurricanes, if I remember correctly. But no, it's just been really. Like I said, I watched them go to the Stanley Cup Finals and lose to the Montreal Canadiens. Real original name, Montreal. Yeah, I watched them play the Canadiens. They won game 1 and then lost 4 straight. And that was Gretzky was still with the team. That was really his last great playoff run. It was a great season. Kelly Hrudey was he was a mediocre. He was kind of mediocre most of the season, but in the playoffs, he just hit his stride and was great. Yeah.
Well, I'm definitely interested in how this rolls out.
Hopefully, this collective bargaining agreement will last. Hockey will have a chance to heal.
Yeah, because now I'm interested. Now that you've mentioned about the hockey lockout.
You know, it's like in the 90s, you had the baseball strike that wiped out the World Series for the first time since like 1904. Ironically, there was no World Series that year because the Giants, the then New York Giants, refused to play the American League team. Which I don't remember who that was. Might have been Boston.
We'll have to look at
because they said, yeah, they said, I'm not going to play that. This is the second World Series, and they're like, we're not playing them. They suck. Something like that. It's like, yeah, obviously that would never happen now, but so there have been 2 times since baseball started having a World Series that they've missed the World Series. So, and one was because of a player strike. So, and I think fans tend to side with whichever side isn't the cause of there not being the sport. If the players are on strike, it's usually on the players to get the bargaining agreement done because they're the ones who are going to get vilified by the fans. In this case, it was the owners locking them out. So when it's a lockout, the owners tend to get vilified. In this case, the owner's representation, Gary Bettman, this is the second time he's been involved in one of these things. So yeah, he's not someone I think should travel to any hockey towns without security.
That bad?
Yeah.
Oh wow. I hope things turn around for him.
For Bettman?
You don't think so?
I hope he gets fired. Really, he needs to lose his job. He's bad at it.
How long has he been?
I don't
Quite
even
some
know.
time.
It's been a while, but yeah, he needs to lose his job. But yeah, the owners support him, so whatever.
Well, we'll see how the hockey season goes. You're going to keep us filled in.
Yes, I will be paying attention.
Thank you.
Don't expect me to talk about individual players a lot.
No, that's fine.
Because a lot of them have names that are difficult to pronounce at best.
No one from South America?
Not that I'm aware of.
No. It's all in the colder.
Usually, usually from places where there is ice. You know? For some reason, kids that have ice play hockey.
We're editing that out.
Why? That is an awesome line. Yeah, kids who have ice have hockey. Now that the Kings have won in LA, though, the indoor hockey rinks are getting more and more popular.
That's what I'm saying. Jacksonville has an indoor hockey rink.
Yeah. Well,
and we're
rink, but we don't have any kind of following for hockey, so kids don't necessarily want to go out and play hockey. So kids weren't necessarily wanting, because you had the Lakers and you had the Dodgers, and there's no football team, but still.
Yeah.
There's the Chargers down south, but you don't have until the Kings won the Stanley Cup. You didn't have a lot of kids playing youth hockey in LA. When Gretzky first came to LA, you had a lot of kids start playing youth hockey.
Gretzky is like the Tiger Woods of golf. The Tiger Woods of hockey, rather. Wouldn't you say?
I would say for a while that Tiger Woods was the Gretzky of golf.
Really?
I think it goes more that way.
Yeah.
Gretzky is a Hall of Famer. He's the all-time leading scorer, all-time leader in assists, all-time leader in goals.
He just looks so young. I keep thinking that maybe he's around Tiger's age.
No.
Not even close?
No, he retired back in the 90s, I think.
That shows how much I know about hockey.
Yeah. Yeah, but Gretzky was great. Gretzky was, well, I mean, that was his nickname, was a great one. Gretzky just could do everything. He didn't look imposing on the ice, but he could really do just about everything that you want a center to do. And it's not like he was going to play defenseman or anything like that. I mean, there have been great players. Mario Lemieux was an incredible player, just back problems, couldn't stay healthy.
Yeah. A lot of injuries in hockey like there are in
football.
Yeah,
absolutely. Well, I mean, you got people skating full speed and hitting each other fairly regularly. I mean, it's like in football, tackling. That's great. And the equivalent of tackling in hockey would probably be checking, which is you have a stick in your hand and you hit someone as hard as you can while you skate at them to prevent them from getting to the puck.
Plus, on top of that, you've got this blade that you're skating on.
Which we try not to use as weapons.
Oh, wow.